Hi, welcome everyone to another episode of Let's Talk Special Economic Zones. I'm your host, Ainsley Brown. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the economics of special economic zones, making a zone POP. And POP standing for production, outsourcing, and postponement. You may not be so familiar with the last term postponement, and it just means comes from the word postpone, which means delay. And it's a nice term. It's a logistics supply chain management type term that just means delayed. And this is a way to look at zones and the type of economic activities that zones typically undertake. They either do some sort of production, it's some sort of outsourcing, and outsourcing again can be outsourcing to do production, or it can be outsourcing to do services. It all depends on what exactly the contracts are for and so forth. And also it can be for contracts for postponement. So outsourcing contracts or postponement, where you have things like third party and fourth party logistics providers who offer logistics as a service, that being, um, some sort of like warehousing, for example, cargo coming in and being held for a time, and that's a service. They may ask for certain other additional things to be done to it, consolidated with other types of cargo, or new labels based on language requirements that are needed going into a certain jurisdiction, a certain country. Uh, there are different services or add-ons or value adds that companies can offer. But this is just a different way, or a simplified way in many respects, to look at zones in terms of just making them pop. And it's important in terms of designing a zone regime, designing a zone the physical area, in terms of, okay, I'm going to put the production area here, maybe put some outsourcing that's, service oriented over there. I'm going to put my postponement here, and all three cooperate or work together in a cohesive way, depending on the size and nature of the zone, of course. But it also goes into execution of zones and how zones operate, or even for investment promotion or economic development agencies, looking at how they attract or who they attract to their zones to come in. And so it's just a little framework or a way to look at things, POP, production, outsourcing, and postponement. Also, when designing a zone or even operating in a zone, you can look at how um, the different incentives that the zone offers, whether fiscal, non-fiscal, or even financial incentives, how those enhance those features. So, for example, using postponement, the very typical fiscal incentive that's offered, where you get um, duty waiver, where duties are not charged on goods coming into the zone as long as they remain there. Um, be those inputs into production or equipment or building materials, whatever they may be. Um, in terms of postponement, that's ideal for postponement, because what it does is the goods are there, they're not being charged duties, so that's a savings. Now, if some of those um, items end up going into the domestic territory, the local customs authorities would then charge, but that's a savings for businesses, because they can use the zones, hire a 3PL that's within a zone to function in a sense as a warehouse for them, um, in a sense giving them even a certain level of resilience, certain level of redundancy within their supply chain, because they know that those goods are stored in that warehouse. They have to pay, the charges that the company would give for their services, but the duties are delayed, and they'll eventually pay them, but um, you don't have to pay right now on the date of importation, right? and that saves costs. So aligning and looking at how your operations fit within that pop and fit with the different fiscal incentives that are offered is very useful in terms of commercial activities and what you can do and how profitable you'll be within your zone. So if you like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to see me do a particular topic, just leave me a comment down below and I'll get right back to you.